This actually just in from Adam Schefter. Yannick Ngakoue is visiting tonight with the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
So is there like at this point, I've kind of accepted life without Ngakoue, and to be honest, I'm not too afraid of it. Like
I'm with you.
I would rather just see what I'd rather just see what you have with the young guys. I mean, you weren't getting a ton of production out of that spot already. Like, I don't know. I'm prepared for a post Ngakoue life.
Listen, I think that the Bears have a price that they're willing to pay for him. This is my guess, and he wants more. They're not going to pay him $10 million the way they paid him last year. My guess is they're willing to pay him about half of that. Again, pure speculation. He wants more. I don't blame him for going out there and shopping his services to somebody that may be willing to give him more. But the Bears are firm at this is what we'll pay you. If you want to come back to us and take this, we'll take you.
Didn't Miami have him in and didn't sign him?
They signed their own free agent.
They kept, Agba, and that was a potential option for the Bears.
I think the Bears have been prepared to have life without him. I mean, how long have they lived with him? 10 games?
I think so, about that.
And then he got hurt?
Again, I think that he would upgrade their pass rush currently to what they have. I agree with their stance, if this is their stance, that they're just, this is the number and we're not going above it. I don't think they should.
And then we'll see what the young guys do. Yeah. And then we'll see who else is in the market by the time if we need to sign somebody. And if we don't, we'll fill a void that we need to have filled. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried. Like that's not having no Yannick Ngakoue does not scare me.
All right. PFF released their 50 best players in the NFL list. The Bears had one. You may be able to take a guess. It was Jalen Johnson. He came in at 42.
Why didn't you let us guess? I was going to guess DJ Moore, actually. So Jalen Johnson.
Well, you knew that Jalen Johnson was the highest rated corner from PFF last year. So
he is, so he's their best player.
Yeah, so he came in at 42. If I set it at 2.5 going into next year, would you take the over or the under on that?
Top how many players?
Top 50 by PFF.
You set it at what?
2.5. Think they can get 3?
Going under.
I'd still go under too. Under. I don't know if even if Caleb has a good year, is he top 50? That's dicey.
Think about that. He'd have
DJ
to be
Moore.
He'd have to be CJ Stroudish to be top 50.
Yeah, top 100. I understand.
Where is CJ Stroud in that list for comparison's sake? Because
29.
He may not have made the cut. They're very.
Oh, he's got to make the cut.
They're very weird with their quarterback ratings.
They don't weight it higher than the other positions.
Yeah, like I think it's easier to be like an elite tackle probably by their rating.
Time out. The young man led the league in touchdown and interception ratio and yards passing per game. He's one of the top based on last year's performance. And by the way, he had an outstanding completion percentage, and they won a playoff game.
What quarterbacks would you have in there? You have Mahomes, you have Allen, you have Lamar. Do you have Joe Burrow or not because of injuries?
You probably no, because Burrow wasn't available last year.
So I would just based on last year.
Well, that's their stats, right? Their stats based on last year's performance.
Yeah.
So CJ Stroud has to be on that list.
So they have Josh Allen, they have Mahomes, not in this order. They have Lamar, they have Burrow. They don't have.
They do have Burrow.
Yeah, they do have Burrow. So they're projecting it going into next year. I was thinking like some of the contenders for possibly the Bears. I was thinking like I don't know. They seem to like Laramie Tunsil is on this list, for example, and CJ Stroud is not. If Darnell Wright is just awesome next year, like that wouldn't. He's somebody I could see elevating into that spot. I was thinking like DJ Moore or if they.
Well, think about it though, Charlie. If they're going to add a tackle, more than likely it's going to be a left tackle, not a right tackle, and he could be the best right tackle in football. But the odds are he's probably not going to make that list. Trent Williams is going to be on that list.
Well, they do have Lane Johnson on there if you're looking for a right tackle.
Trent Williams is holding out too, buddy.
Yeah.
Another holdout for the Niners. The NFC is there for the taking, boys. Look out. Bears.
Speaking of Trent Williams, as Meller said, it looks like they have another holdout on their hands. The 49ers currently are going to be entering training camp without Ayuk, and it looks like without Trent Williams. Is it?
But Ayuk is doing a hold in, yes? Isn't he reporting?
Yes, because I don't think he
so.
wants to be fined.
What about Trent Williams? Is he doing a hold in or hold out?
He's holding
Williams
out.
did not report for camp and is holding out.
So, I mean, is there anything there to the fact that the Bears don't have any holdouts this year? Like, is it just more coincidental with how the contracts have worked out, or do you think it does speak to that maybe they do have a good thing going in a lot of more facets than just on the field, the fact that nobody's holding out?
Well, who would hold out? If anybody would hold out, it'd be DJ, right? And that's just not, I don't think that's in his DNA from what I can.
I think you have more holdouts, the more successful you get. Now,
Yes.
Roquan was a weird one, but I think when you're a better team, you're going to have more contractual issues. Like the San Francisco 49ers have the most,
I just
right?
forgot yes, and they have the most inexpensive starting quarterback in the league, and they still have holdout issues.
And that's probably the reason why Trent Williams is trying to get money. He's trying to get paid. He's 36 years old. He's trying to get paid now because he knows that.
The Cowboys have a lot of issues with the
Yeah,
contract.
Micah Parsons,
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb, neither one of them are.
Like, Dak might just be a free agent next year.
Yeah, but Dak's going to be there. Dak's there. He's just not going to renegotiate. Dak's going to become an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He's not holding out.
So this is all good. Like I'm not running away from no drama. This is a good thing that there's no drama, but I don't think this is any indication that all's perfect with the Bears. Like, let them play some games, and then we'll see how perfect everything is.
Going back to your list, too, like, so who else would be on the top 50 list from Bears? You're saying Darnell Wright, Jalen
I think
Johnson, anybody
Montez
else?
Sweat could probably end up there.
He wants like 10% of the list to be Bears players.
It's only 3.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going like with 5 guys.
Oh, no, I
Brisker,
mean, like, if-
obviously Torrey Taylor
Yeah,
will
I
get
mean,
on that
for-
list.
For guys who, like, if you're mapping out who could take those big steps and end up on a list like that, like take a big year 2 jump, I wouldn't be shocked if it was Darnell Wright.
Later, you need to do some research, Charlie, and tell us what team has the most players on this top 50. That's not, you know what I mean? Like the Niners and Chiefs, good teams. They probably only have 3 or 4 guys.
I don't know. The Niners have some really good
That's
players.
true. That's true. They're all holding out.
I bet like next year on the top 100, the Bears have multiple players. Like when you go 100 deep, I think you'll get some more guys. I hope Caleb's on that list next year. I hope
Giants have like 6 or 7 on this list.
oh, really?
Yeah, because you forget,
Giants.
like they got Fred Warner, they got
That's
the
the
Giants, the 49ers. I was
was gonna
confusing
say,
my
yeah.
ba-
Fred
my-
Warner's
like
on
the
that
Giants.
list.
New
Joey,
York.
Bosa, Nick Bosa's on
Yeah,
that
of
list.
course.
Trent
They got
Williams is on that
McCaffrey.
list. McCaffrey's on the list.
The quarterback's got to be on
Kittle's
the,
on the list.
Is the quarterback on the list?
I doubt it.
On the top 100 or top? Are we
No
talking top
Purdy
100?
on this top
Top
50.
50.
list.
But next year, I hope Caleb's on the top 100 list.
I hope so too.
All right, so Jim Bowden was on Cap's podcast. They played a little bit of it today. Here's some of it right now.
Yeah, these two.
I think Jed has a really good answer that he's going to be able to give the ownership, which I'm sure Tom Ricketts is already well aware, which is I have been building up the farm system, and we're not at that timetable yet. They're not here yet, but now they're knocking on the door, and I'm gonna be able to show you, Owen Casey to play in the outfield. I'm gonna bring up Cade Horton for you to see. Kelvin Alcantara is close. Matt Shaw is close. Here they come, and we're gonna play a little bit of checkbook baseball to get a free agent or 2, combined with the kids that are coming, and it'll come together. And so his ability right now, what Jed is doing, the way I view it, is he's buying one more year. By sitting here and throwing in the towel right now, I'm going to sell. I'm going to build for 25 and beyond. That's my sell point to ownership. I'm going to go get a piece for next year now. I'm going to sign a free agent or 2 in the offseason, and my kids will be ready at the same time, and I'll be there. And if I'm Tom Ricketts, I'm like, okay, you got one more year left, and let's get it done. Yeah, here we go.
If you are Tom Ricketts and you hear that, what do you say? What do you think?
I think some of it makes sense, and I think a lot of it is to Tom Ricketts' directive. I think what Jed did with the farm system was starting with the Yu Darvish trade under the guidance of Tom Ricketts saying, Jed, it's time to sell. It's time to restock the farm system, and I think that Jed has done that. Now we've got to see them start producing on the major league level soon. So I don't think what Bowden said is outlandish there. I didn't like what Bowden said about throwing in the towel on this year, which is a bite that we didn't make. I don't know why anybody would want them to invest in this year's team. This year's team stinks. They're not the Diamondbacks of last year. They're not the Phillies of a couple of years ago. They're not even the Cubs of last year that fell a game short. This team is not salvageable. Sell what you can. Turn them into a longer-term prospect and regroup for next year.
Amen. I don't listen. I don't understand the argument for Jamison Taillon. He's had a great year. This has been a career. Well, if you go back to 2017, I think, but over the last 4 or 5 years, he's been a 4 ERA guy. He's right at 3.
Yes.
I mean, trade high.
Trade high.
You don't know who he's going to be next year.
Too many of our teams decide to trade. You're doing what the Bulls do if you hold on to him, and then you trade him when he's got a 4.5 ERA and say, why doesn't anybody want him?
He's
I don't
not
understand.
Justin Steele. He's a third starter.
Yeah, trade him now high.
Yeah.
Don't do what the Bulls did and look around and say, why doesn't anybody want any of our players? Retool, and then you could be nimble next year, re-sign guys. You'll have enough pitching, and maybe next year they'll be able to reshape their team enough where they'll be better. Don't say, well, we've got to rush this now and compete next year, so we must keep Jamison Taillon.
I think Taillon has ultimately had a fantastic year, very replaceable in next season.
Yes, yes.